What's up, Elevation Nation? It is January 18th, 2024. We're back with another episode of the podcast, Fortitude and 15. Sam, I think this is episode 290, maybe? Wow, craziness.
Nuts.
Elevating doesn't stop. We're here with you every Thursday, and we're pumped to be with you. Sam, what's going on, dude? How's life treating you these days?
It snowed. It's cold. But life's great. Life is good. Tough to complain. I'm excited for our topic today. I think it's a hot button issue, especially in young adults. And it's one we talk about a lot on the podcast. So I'm really excited to dive into it and add some value to Elevation Nation.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's jump right into it. So I'm searching on Twitter, and, Twitter can throw you anything at any point, whether it's in the comment section, it's in the main feed, whatever. You never know what you're going to come by, and I think that's what's amazing about Twitter is because you could get something really serious, you could get something really funny, or you could get some crazy hot takes. And I came across this hot take, and I want to read it for you all, Elevation Nation. I sent it to Sam, and he firmly had an opinion on this, and so I think it will be a really good discussion for today. So this guy, Matt Van Swole, on Twitter, he's at _Van Swole, said, super hot take. The normalization of therapy is becoming a bad thing for society. And he says he's seeing it more and more in people. Number one, they use the fact that they are in therapy as a, quote, get out of jail free card, end quote, for awful behavior. Two, he believes everything he's seeing more people believe everything their therapist says as gospel truth with no further research required by that individual. And three, he's seeing more people equate the act of going to therapy with the actions of being a good person. He's not saying therapy is bad for everyone, but he's seeing a trend of less personal responsibility for bad behavior and a lot more talk about therapy as the only solution. And this tweet got 4.6 million views. There's a ton of engagement on the post, comments, back and forth, agreeing, disagreeing. So, Sam, that's what we're here today to do. Agree or disagree with this dude's take?
Can we go one by one? I think there were three main points because I want to make sure we differentiate. Is that cool, Parker?
All right, let's do it.
Can you reread point one, please?
Point one, he's seeing more people use the fact that they are in therapy as a get out of jail free card for awful behavior.
Yeah, I disagree with that point. I mean, granted, I haven't seen it firsthand, so maybe some people are. But I don't think that therapy is an excuse or can be used as an excuse for you to still be doing messed up things. I think therapy can be an excuse for you struggling with your own mindset, for you maybe not being as clear as you want on certain things. But I don't believe it's an excuse for you to be a shitty friend or a shitty person.
So you agree with this guy in that case?
I don't agree because I haven't seen anyone use it as an excuse. I haven't been in a situation where someone's like, oh, sorry, I just missed your birthday party. Like, I'm in therapy, like, working on some shit.
Or,
you know?
You have a bad tendency to say this certain thing or have this certain action. Like, oh, actually, like, yeah, I'm in therapy. We're working on this. Like,
I want to bring up a point around this. Yeah, like, I haven't seen it, so I can't. But I want to bring up another point on this, Parker, if that's cool. I had a really great conversation with elevator number, let me see what number he is. I think he's early on. Yeah, elevator number 7 and future elevator unknown number. So Peter Fusilero and Jared Butler. They were over the other night, last Sunday, and we sat and we talked about religion and truth and concepts in life. And I think, and this kind of feeds into the next point, at one point in time, a lot of people used religion as a scapegoat, right? Religion was used as oh, hey, I'm making a mistake here, but I'm going to repent my sin, or I'm going to figure out how to be better in the future, or I'm going to church on Sunday to discuss that concept, right?
I still think people still do that, by the way.
Which is fair. But I think religion, we've seen a downtick in religion and activism in religion, but we've seen an uptick in therapy. So on this next point of therapy as gospel, as less people have gone the religious route of using the Bible or their God or their community or their temple or their church as the gospel or a truth, they've seen an uptick in the need to have someone wise give them guidance on life. And that person has, in many points in time, been replaced by this now therapist. So I'm moving into point 2. I think that I completely agree with.
So you're saying that it's a bad thing for society, though, that people are using their therapists as this gospel truth, because that's what this guy is saying.
I didn't say it's a bad thing. I think it is certainly a valid and true statement and a trend that is moving in that direction. Whether it's bad or good, right? I think you need to find the mentor, the person in life that does resonate with you. Whether that's Gary Vee virtually through his podcast, whether that's a pastor or a rabbi at your church or temple, or whether that's your therapist. I think a beautiful part about life and how we've been able to evolve as a human species is we pass down life lessons, tips, tricks, how to survive and live our best lives to the younger generations. And so for a long time, religion did that. And now I think therapy and therapists are filling that void that many young people have as they've become less religious to still want some tips or tricks on life as a whole.
I think there's something to be said that a therapist, like, you don't gain necessarily like a personal relationship with them. And as a result, they're telling you, you know, a therapist is supposed to be certified and you know, able to give you like scientific backed advice. And I mean, I could see how people miscue that, be like, oh, that is the truth. That is right. Whatever they're saying or telling me to do is like the right thing to do. Where I feel like in, you know, my therapy, and I continue to see a therapist, and Sam, I know you do too, is the therapist is there to help me think and come to truths within myself. And, you know, she could say, you know, here's this theory or this framework, but I think I try to challenge myself to think about how I would apply that in my life. And if it's not relevant, I'm very straight up and I tell her. Whereas I think what this guy's trying to say is that he's seeing many people just take what the therapist says and just run with it. So I guess a takeaway here that I have is, if you're not even just in therapy, but, you know, if you have someone on the outside who seems legit or has a certification or some type of credibility to offer you something that they deem truth, it is just take it as information. Take what you want. That doesn't mean they're right or wrong. They're probably likely more right than you would assume that you would know, because you're not expert, but that doesn't mean it always is right. So,
well, I think that's why we need mental fortitude in Elevation Nation now more than ever, right? Parker and I give tips and tricks and advice, call it therapy, call it venting, whatever you want to call it, to everyone. But more importantly, we try to teach elevators how to thrive on their own, how to critically think on their own. And similar to a therapist, right? I think a lot of young people are so lost. We're told exactly what to do our entire lives. And we get to young adulthood, and finally all our decisions are ours, and it's overwhelming. And so to have this one person who's supposed to understand you better than anyone and has a psychologic and medical background telling you and giving you advice, you're like, well, of course I'm going to listen to this person. Whereas I think, to Parker's point, a healthier way to approach a therapist is listening to them and then using your own point of view, your own background, and your own perspective to noodle on that idea and to see if you want to push it forward. So I totally agree with you, Parker.
Okay, and then the third piece is they're equating the act. He's saying that, you know, a bad thing for society is he's seeing more people equate the act of going to therapy with the actions of being a good person. I mean, obviously, this whole tweet is just interesting in general. I think it's definitely, he said it's a hot take. I think people are more focused on going to therapy because they want to better themselves and they want to be able to talk about the challenges and the things that are going on in their life and try to improve in those regards. And some people do, and some people, have challenges with being able to do that. And you don't have to go to therapy if you're broken, or you don't have to do a therapy if everything's great. Like, you should be going to therapy regardless. And I don't know. I think, long story short, Sam, I disagree with what this guy is saying. Like, the normalization of therapy. The normalization of therapy is a great thing for society. It is a great thing because people have more access to therapy than ever before. People have access to resources to improve their mental health. I will say you'll have the bad actors, the outliers who might use therapy as an excuse, which is BS. You and I both know that. And fortunately, I haven't heard anyone give it as an excuse yet. All right.
I think it's a hot take. I'm glad we debated it. I'm glad we discussed it. But yeah,
so we'll call it
Parker
a
and I will
super
continue to
bad take.
preach therapy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Super bad take. That's what it is. All right, Elevation Nation. Well, Sam and I are starting a new section, and this is something fun and enjoyable. If you listen to Part of My Take, some other good podcasts, they do something similar with, what is it, Sam? Hot Seat, Cool Throne. Is that right? On Part of My Take? So I was thinking, all right, what are we buying and selling? But that's sounds too finance related to me. So, Sam, what's elevating to you and what's de-elevating to you in this week? Maybe we'll start with the elevating to you.
In my elevating seat, that's how they do it on Part of My Take. For this week, I have Cinema Sundays. New tradition in the Panitch McPartland household here. Peter Fusiliero joined us. We decided to watch some critically acclaimed films on Sunday night. No sports, nothing like that. We wanted to learn and be moved. And so we watched Jiro Dreams of Sushi, an incredible documentary that moved me to tears. I cannot wait for Parker to watch it. I think he's going to freak out. And we also watched, I think it's called Tightrope or something, about the guy who walked a tightrope between the Twin Towers and his story. Both fantastic films. Ton of life lessons in there. I think once Parker watches it, we're going to do a Fortitude and 15 on it because it's that impactful. But that's my elevating seat for the day.
Okay, well, I told you I have a movie that you have to watch. It's on Netflix. It was just released, and it's called La Sociedad de la Nieve. It's a Uruguayan film, but they can dub it for you. Incredible. That's all I'm saying. Incredible. I think it would make for a perfect Sunday cinema. All right, what is elevating for me? Hot tea. I texted you that before. Hot tea. I'm in this hot tea phase. JJ and I are loving hot tea. It's a great way to end a night and just drink and some decaffeinated tea. Just feeling good when I drink my tea, nice and warm and cozy. Maybe it's the winter air, Sam, but man, hot tea, something about it. It's also helping me avoid coffee in the middle of the day. Instead of drinking coffee, I'd prefer to drink hot tea, which is obviously a lot less caffeinated, I feel like. It might not be, but I feel like it is. So I guess that's a win, right? All right, so what's de-elevating for me right now? Oof, man. I will say, and this is catching up with me, Elevation Nation, I buy a lot of books. We ask a person on the podcast what their book recommendation is. And what's de-elevating to me is I have all these books that I want to read, but I don't have the time right now to read them. So I will say I'm going to have to exercise a lot of mental fortitude in the coming months, Sam, because I'm a busy man, but also at the same time, I want to read. That's part of things I like to do. But man, I got a lot of books. People keep recommending things to me. I know we just bought another book. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just de-elevating because part of me and how I elevate is reading. But just overwhelmed.
If it makes you feel better, I'm cheering for the Ravens to lose early in the playoffs to give you some more free time back.
Asshole.
Think about all the free time you would have on your Sundays if you
free
didn't
time. It's 3
waste
hours
them watching a football game.
What do you mean? It's beautiful. We've been going all season. We got a great team, MVP, like Super Bowl caliber team. like we're rolling, man. This is amazing. This is great. It's a story to be said. This is for Baltimore, Sam. This is bigger than me.
Meet me at the bank.
This is bigger than you. This is for Baltimore.
They need it, baby. All right, I'll cheer for Baltimore, just for you. All right, my de-elevating throne of the week. Scrolling on your phone. Last week, I changed my phone to be in all black and white, and it's been fantastic. I am down 83% on screen time this week compared to last week. I'm spending no time on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm spending a lot more time with my own thoughts and reading. And it's been great for productivity. TikTok's been wasting my time. Instagram's been worse. Make it black and white. Anytime you look at your phone, you're going to get a little bit of depression. And it'll make you not look at your phone anymore. So there you go. There you have it.
I think it is pretty crazy how like color adds so much oomph in our life. So, I mean, you're a test case right here. So maybe you can encourage other people. We'll
exactly. See. All right. Elevator shout outs. Here we go. Elevator number 150, Stone Fredrickson, just embarked on his next solo adventure, landed in the country of Guatemala, and is living his best life. Stone, we love you, brother. Enjoy the trip. If you want to swing by Colombia, we'd love to have you.
I would be shocked if he came to Colombia, but I think it would also be really, really cool, wouldn't it? All right, elevator shout out. Elevator 140, Juan Fuara. First of all, I saw Juan in a picture with one of my former campers, which was really cool. So shout out Juan there. I was pretty pumped to see that. But then I also saw him after Penn State beat a top 10 team in the country. He was on the court and on the TV while they're interviewing the coach. There's Juan, front center, elevating, showing his school spirit. And I would have been shocked if I didn't see him in that exact moment. So I just had to give a shout out for that guy because I think it was pretty cool.
We love you, Juan. Keep on crushing it. All right, Elevation Nation. Until next week, peace.
Peace. I forgot.